Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, what you know about benchmark? They're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. Taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They clearing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tune in now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow. We know.
That's the go-to meal. Like low key, if I went to jail and they gave me death row, I might want peanut butter and jelly and chocolate milk as the last meal.
I'm with you on that, like 100%. Like I'm with you on that.
Nah, that one slaps. It slaps. Good. That's good eats. Like it never gets old, and it saves you a ton of money if you just do it for lunch or whatever. But
and it's quick, simple, easy to make, so can't complain.
You ain't gotta worry about it. That's facts. That's facts.
Not at all.
I wanted to have you, Dave, on the show, bro, because yo, Dave, you're a Jersey legend, bro. Yo, it's stamped, bro. It's stamped, bro. There's gonna be people that are gonna be happy we had you on the show, bro. I already know it's gonna be a hit that we had you on the show, bro. Like I don't think you understand. Like Dave was selling out gyms at Columbia, bro. Like people was coming to see you play, bro. You and Mike. I should have Mike on at some point too. Like
no, I appreciate it, bro. I definitely should have hit you up earlier. I just, I've seen a couple of your podcasts. I'm like, yo, like this is good content. Like, I definitely want to be on it. So I appreciate inviting me on the show. So
I appreciate that, bro, for real. But I'm gonna let Tone do his intro thing because it's the best part. It's the best part.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Podcast. We have today a special guest, David, and I don't want to butcher your last name, Runcie?
Runcie, that was close, man. Basically, got it.
Right.
Be nice.
Already mentioned, Jersey legend, Columbia High School, went to Hampton as a walk-on, transferred to Bard. I mean, the list really could go on with all the accolades, but we're going to just get into it before we start and we talk about his journey. We talk about his career with ball, what he's up to now, because I know all of our listeners want to know what he's been doing lately. Mm-hmm. Shout out to our listeners. Shout out to the YouTube viewers. Shout out to y'all for supporting. It is huge. It's because of y'all why we are able to do this show. Be on the lookout. We have some big news coming soon. But Dave, how are you, man?
Man, I'm doing well. I can't complain, man. Crazy times, but doing well. I appreciate you guys having me on. So happy to be here.
Nah, man, the pleasure is all ours, bro. And I don't know if you've seen the interviews before, but like the way they typically go is like it's a conversation. Like it's no different than sitting down in my car and chatting, or it's no different than us hooping at the gym. We're just chatting on the side, like honestly. So, what I want to start with is just kind of take it back to the beginning. Obviously, I want people to get an update on how things are going now, though, before we kind of get there, right? So, like, how are things going now, Dave? What's up? I obviously know what's going on with you. We hang out all the time, but for the listeners, what are you up to right now?
Yeah, so I graduated May 2019, so a year and a half ago. I got into coaching. That's something I always wanted to try out. I was coaching at Connecticut College. It's a Division III school in New London, Connecticut, so it's a nice spot. And yeah, man, I got to coach for a season. A lot of film study. I still connected to the game of basketball. Definitely wanted to try that aspect of it. Be involved in the game. And then it's crazy because the season ended right when the pandemic hit, and everything was uncertain. And for me, it was always something I wanted to try, but for me, I didn't have that same passion. I loved being a player, but coaching wasn't something I really wanted to continue doing. And then so after that, I got into like the business world. Right now I just got a job recently. I'm helping small businesses during these tough times. So that's kind of what I've been doing, from home, working remote. Been doing that for the past, months. But no, I just feel blessed, man. During these tough times, I'm healthy. My family's good, so just appreciating the little things. And I've been, playing ball with Greg every now and then in small groups, trying to be safe, but we've been active, hooping. And when we're not hooping, we're throwing around a football, just trying to stay in shape. So that's kind of what I've been up to, staying in shape, hooping, just, working and, just being thankful that I'm healthy, as of now. So thankful for that.
Before we even go to the beginning stages of where the love started, you just mentioned how much you really enjoyed being a player. Coaching really wasn't your bag. What did you have an opportunity to continue playing once college was done? Like, how did you just go into coaching?
Yeah, so for me, my last 2 years at Bard, I really had a breakout year my junior year, and then my senior year I played even better. But for me, I thought about it a little bit. I was like, I'm playing well. Maybe I could play overseas. But the thing is, I wasn't really getting that type of attention, from overseas agents or clubs. So for me, it was like, I'm not really going to go over there unless I'm wanted. I'm not going to maybe go to like Bulgaria if I'm not wanted, like that'd be tough, So it was in the back of my mind. But for me, I was content. Like for me, I was like, I finished my last basketball game in college. I'm happy with the career I had, and I won't have any regrets that I'm not playing anymore. So for me, it was like my last college basketball game. My career is done, but I'm happy with it. I could live with the results. So it was a little bit. I thought about a little bit in terms of playing after, but it was more so, I could live with what happened. I'm happy about it. Time to move on. So that was kind of my thought process about maybe playing overseas, but it didn't really work out that way. I was more so college and then move on to, life after that.
Well, I mean, as long as you happy, that's all that matters.
Exactly, man.
But people need to know too. It wasn't sweet. When you were at Bard, like there was an opportunity to play overseas. I always said that. We talked about that too. When we used to play at the Y, just work out. I'd be like, yo, you could definitely play overseas. Like, It's no question to me that you have the talent. Like your junior year, it says here, bro, you had a career at 31 points over Vaughn. You scored over 20 points 4 times, and you were averaging 13.2 points a game, and that was a big jump from that 8 points and 5 rebounds you were having the first year you transferred over. So you had to get acclimated, and then the next year blew up, right? Like the next year just took off. So what was that like? Like what was it like getting acclimated to Bard, and how did it feel, going on that run your junior year?
Bro, it was crazy. So my first year, I get to Bard, I'm coming off the bench, and I was just really inconsistent. It was my first time getting game minutes, so it's different than when you're walk-on. Like I didn't get game minutes, so I'm practicing, but in a game it's different. So, some games I had 20-point explosions, other games I'd have 2 points and a bunch of turnovers. I was just really inconsistent. So it's hard to start a player that's not consistent, and that's kind of what I was my first year at Bard. But my second year, man, when I had that breakout year, I was just consistent, man. Like I was playing 30 minutes a game, out there, making plays, scoring. And I just felt like I was just being me. I was doing what I thought I could do, So I think the breakout was more of a confidence thing and just getting acclimated to college ball. Because my first year at Bard, that was my first time getting game minutes. And it was a good learning experience. So I really got to be like, okay, my first year was solid, but let me just improve on this and, try to be a bucket the next year. That's kind of, let me get into my bag. That was kind of how I felt. And then that's kind of what I was able to do. So
the bag is deep.
It really is deep. I have to attest to that. The YMCA pickup run. It was hard to guard this man. Like he's not obviously 6'11", but he gave that KD-esque just smooth, easy jumper, and nobody obviously at YMCA was able to put a hand up and make anything of a difference on his jump shot. It was dang near every game he would go 8-0 YMCA run. So you mentioned being a bucket, you mentioned getting first time, getting some player minutes. We have to touch on it because this is huge. A lot of people don't do this. This is like a one-of-one type situation. You go to Hampton and you walk on and make the team. How was that, being a walk-on and making it at a D1 institution as a walk-on?
Yeah, bro. So I'll tell you that story. So out of high school, I was getting recruited by just a mixed bag of schools. The schools I was getting recruited by the hardest were Jersey schools. And there were solid schools like Ramapo, TCNJ, and I had some D2 schools in Connecticut. But for me, like, I was like, I want to go to college in a different part of the country. I want to, get out of state and just see something new. So I started looking at schools down south, Hampton area, and then out west. And I applied to Hampton regularly, like a regular student. And, so I applied to Hampton, and then this was before my senior season. So after my senior season of high school basketball, I had a good year, and I made a highlight tape. My dad, he's great with that. He helped me make a highlight tape, and I had my senior year highlights and then my AAU highlights from the previous year. And so I had already applied to Hampton. And so I was like, let me just send my highlight tape in there, because you never know, it's worth a shot. Let me send it in. I also sent it to other schools as well, out west, and some schools in Massachusetts as well. But I was like, I'm going to send it out. Schools I like, if one coach responds, that's all I need. One coach, that's all you need. So a few days later, the Hampton coach replies. He says we have a walk-on spot. We love kind of what we saw on tape. We got to see it in person. Do you want the spot? You get to try out for it though. You want to try out for this walk-on spot? And I'm like, yeah, like absolutely. I want to try out for this spot. Like, when can I come down? And he sets up a time and date. This was in mid-April after my senior year. So the high school basketball season ended like a month or two before. And so it's mid-April, I come down and I'm working out with the team. So the tryout was basically like, it was a workout at first, and then it ended up being a scrimmage with the actual team. And guys, when I tell you, I played the hardest I ever played in a workout in a scrimmage in my life, I'm like, I need this spot. Like I need this spot. So I was playing my butt off. I was diving for loose balls in the scrimmage. I was going at dudes they were better than me, the dudes that I was going at, but I was like, I don't care. Like I'm playing my butt off for this. And then so I play well enough, and I get the spot, and bro, it felt so good. Just coach was like, yeah, no, you earned it, man. You earned the spot, the walk-on spot. And then he took me around campus, showed me the school, so I got a feel for because it's also my decision. Like basketball is cool, but do I like the school as well? So he showed me the school. I like the school. And I was like, yeah, no, this is the spot for me for now. And that's kind of my journey to Hampton. I applied there regularly as a regular student. And then, I took a chance, like, let me send my highlight tape in there. Like, I had a good senior year. I was confident, and it ended up working. He responded. It's kind of like a low percentage chance that he was going to respond to that email, but, it worked out, and I, played well enough in the workout. And then, so that was how I got to Hampton. And then, once I got there, man, like, bro, down south, I think it's like Southern hospitality. The vibe is just so different, especially in college. And it was HBCU, so it was like a family atmosphere. They really looked out for one another. And I was just, the facilities were nice. Practicing with the guys every day was great. I got better, even though I didn't get game minutes. I got better in practice, and that showed off when I transferred to Bard. I got to use what I learned at Hampton to, kind of take off and do well at Bard. But the experience was great. Like, I mean, it's one of those things I'll remember forever. I got to be a part of a, Division I club, got to get better, got to use the facilities. The locker room was dope. Like, I just took pictures. They have them in my camera roll just to like keep forever. dope pictures of, the locker room. The guys are great. And just like the family vibe was amazing. So, I mean, I'm just happy I did it. And I think it helped me as a player and as a person too. So happy got to go to Hampton.
Well, there's a lot of guys that want to play D1 ball that listen to the podcast. A lot of the guys that want to play D1 ball that we know personally, right? What would you tell them the biggest adjustment is from playing high school basketball and playing AAU at a high level, which you did, and we'll get there. But what's the difference between doing that and then playing basketball at that high level at D1? Like, what's the biggest difference? What's the biggest thing you have to adjust to?
The speed of the game is just different. Like, and dudes are physical. I think it's just being able to adjust to the game. So I would say the biggest thing, if you're a high school player that you're trying to play D1, just trust yourself. So if do what you do well, but don't overdo it. You don't want to overthink it. In games, and when you're trying to obviously impress coaches, you might want to overplay or just kind of play out your comfort zone. But I would say just do what you do at the highest level. So if you're a knockdown shooter, be a knockdown shooter, but also make smart plays. Don't try to dribble through a crowd or take like a step back three if that's not your game. So I would say just play your game at a high level and just be confident. And wherever that takes you, it takes you. Maybe it's not D1, but maybe it's like a high D2 or a high D3. So I would just say play your game play your game at a confident level. Don't be who you're not, and that will take you farther than you'll ever kind of realize, whether it's D1, D2, D3, or NAIA, because the competition level is great at any level. So just kind of find the best spot for you. That's what I would say.
I think that's great advice right there. Basically goes back to kind of a theme that we had from different guests on the show of just playing your role. Know your role and excel at your role. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the early stages. When did basketball become your love? When did you pick up a basketball and start becoming great?
I mean, to be honest, my dad, he was really into basketball. So I would say when I was like 3 or 4, to be honest with you, like I was shooting in like in the house, the little like kiddie hoops, and then, YMCA leagues, at 5 or 6 years old. But it kind of started from my dad. He played college ball. He got me and my brother into it. He put the ball in our hands. So I would say since I was like 3 or 4, I was playing. And when I really started to love it, I would say, as soon as as early as I had a memory, maybe 5 or 6 years old, when I was playing YMCA leagues, just, it was fun. Like, I tried other sports like baseball and tennis, and I just didn't have the same passion as I did for basketball. And maybe that's because of my dad, or maybe just because, I was better at it. I don't know. It's tough, but I would say, as long as I can remember, like 5 years old, that's when I really had a passion for it. And I think just our community, like just going to the gym with you guys, that also made me love the game more too, even though, YMCA, it's different, obviously. You're not playing like a game scenario, like with fans or anything, but it's just fun, just hooping, like the innocence of the game, like playing with you guys. That kind of made me love it even more, because I realized that like when I'm not, hooping at Columbia or whatever, I could just, enjoy the game at times without a coach, because sometimes with coaches, it's all structure, whatever. But when you get to hoop with your friends, it's fun hooping with your friends. Like hooping with you guys is fun. Like I would do that any day, just having great friends and great, people around like you guys also helped me love the game as well. So.
I mean, Greg, it's easy to love the game when you go into the YMCA 8-0 and you go home.
Yo, man, I can't wait till we could have those, moments again, when the world gets better.
That back. We need that back for sure.
All of us can just hoop again without, fear of getting sick. I can't wait till that could happen again.
Facts. And it's so, when we used to hoop with the Y, bro, my favorite thing about it was it wasn't even the games, bro. The games was what they were. We knew, we knew what we were about to do. If we were on the same team, we knew what it was. We knew it was gonna happen. But it was really more about playing against you. I enjoyed that in particular because your bag is deep, and it made me have to play defense. And like me, I'm 25 now. Like I'm trying to go to the league. I'm not really trying to play defense like that. I'm not trying to play, but like when I play against you, I have to, and I like that. Because if I don't, it can get embarrassing. So I really that's the thing I appreciated the most about playing against you, bro. We took it back. We'll get back to your college days soon, but 2 things. One, for people who don't know, Dave's dad is like the real life Uncle Drew. Like the Uncle Drew commercials, like you see that. Now his dad is a killer. Like it didn't miss a generation. Like Dave got it from his dad, and Mike too. Like killer, right? And people don't know. Where was he at? Virginia?
Yeah, and then he transferred, and when he really got his buckets was at Holy Cross, which is a Division I school as well. So.
Yup.
But yeah, man, like his game, like he's just kind of taught me, you got to be aggressive, but have controlled aggression. Like you don't want to be out of control, but you want to be like aggressive where you're helping the team. So yeah, he was definitely someone that I looked up to and kind of modeled my game after, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you could sum up your game in a couple sentences, what would you say your game is like?
Yeah, so I would say I'm an aggressive shooter that likes to play fast, paced, and push the ball. So I'll take some wild shots, to be honest. I'll take some wild threes. But, I mean, we all do that, when you're playing aggressive. Because when you're playing loose, that's when you're at your best. Like, you don't play your best when you're a caged animal. Like, you play your best when you're loose. So I would say I'm an aggressive shooter that likes to, take deep shots, but also get out on the break and, try to get easy buckets and play fast-paced. Like, I want to be able to play a fast-paced game. I don't want to play, like, a slow-paced game where, it's sloppy. Like, I want to play up-tempo. So up-tempo shooter that likes to be aggressive. And, just basically, kill. It's kind of my mindset. So
just
on the
kill.
Court. Yeah.
I love it. Transitioning from that, obviously the game was there from an early age. Your dad created an AAU program, King Street Kings. That it's well known. You had some really great players come through there. You played with some guys. Just to ring off some names: Otis Livingston played with y'all. Austin White played with you guys. Austin Goodluck, amongst others. Right? There's a lot of guys we could go down this list and name. I'm missing some Temple was with you guys too, right?
Yeah, Temple Gibbs
Yeah.
was with us for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, man, like just stacked. So tell me what it was like playing for your dad's AAU team, and it was prominent. Like it was a prominent AAU team, well known. People wanted to play for them. What was that like playing throughout your adolescent years?
That was great. At first, it's a little weird because you're the coach's son. So it's like, is he really good or is he just on the team because he's the coach's son? But then you start to prove yourself, obviously like once the games start and, I'm doing my thing in games, it's like, okay, like, he deserves to be here. But it was great. I mean, we traveled like everywhere, man, like different states. We went to AAU nationals. And you got to connect with the guys like, Austin Goodluck, Otis, like what you mentioned, Austin White. And, there's a bunch of others, just connecting with the guys and, playing against good teams. You play against great players in AAU as well. So I think that helped me a lot, honestly, growing up. And that helped me, I think, in high school. I was able to get better all the way up to high school. And then I think at Columbia, I was able to kind of show off, my skill set that I was able to get from AAU. Because I think the more you play, as you guys know, like the more game experience, the more you play, you're going to get better. You're going to try new things. You're going to play, like just playing experience I was able to get by playing, hundreds of games in AAU. And I think the relationships are the biggest thing, like just getting to know people off the court and those travel experiences. Like you guys know, when you travel with a group of people, you get closer, So I was able to get close with certain people. And my dad started all that. So I'm forever, grateful that he started the King Street Kings organization and, ended up taking off and, bigger than probably he ever thought. And guys came through who, it's like, whoa, like this guy wants to play for King Street. Like, really? Like, wow, it's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm just forever happy that my dad started that. It helped me take my game to the next level. My brother, everyone who came through and meet great people. So I'm thankful for that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask, and throw it in there and Tone, on my bad, but best player you ever played against in AAU, like who was that best player?
Isaiah Whitehead. I would say Isaiah Whitehead. Yeah, we played him again. We hosted a tournament, King Street. We hosted at Newark Academy. Shout out Coach Mingo. But the tournament was hosted at his place at Newark Academy. And we played against Isaiah Whitehead's team. It was Juice. Back then Juice. They had a bunch of players, and Isaiah Whitehead was one of their better guys. And I remember one play I was guarding him, man, he just gave me a straight bucket, in and out, cross, step back, bucket. And I was just like, it happens to the best of us. But that made me realize, like, there's some good guards that are just in AAU, and he was probably the best one that I was able to see live and play against. I would say Isaiah Whitehead. And Briscoe was good too, but I would just say, like, those two are, good guys I played against, and AAU especially. So I would say Isaiah Whitehead is probably the guy. Yeah.
Something I want to ask, and shout out to Isaiah Whitehead, Briscoe. If y'all want to hop on the show, the platform is y'all. So you could come on if y'all want to hop on. But tell me, is there a difference, or what was the difference you saw from playing in Jersey most of your life and playing in other states? Like in the South, what is the type of basketball they play down there? And at Bard, like, did you see a difference in the states of how the game was played?
I would say it's not too different. I would say in Jersey, it's just more physical. I would say in Jersey, it's just more of like a physical style of basketball. And that's like known, toughness, like New Jersey, New York, a lot of scrappy dudes. That's kind of like the thing that I noticed the most. Obviously there's scrappiness, down South and out West or whatever too. But I would say dudes, because there were dudes, that I played at Hampton that were from, New Jersey, New York as well. And they were scrappy. So I would say New Jersey is just typically more like rugged, scrappy dudes. And then down South, it's similar. It's just, I would say it's a little more finesse, but it's still scrappy. But the biggest difference, I would say Jersey, and even at Bard, too, the teams we played, they're just, I would say physicality is a big emphasis compared to other parts of the country. But everywhere, it's physical, and it's the same style in terms of, you want to be physical, so you don't want to get bullied by anyone. But I would say, especially in Jersey, just the physicality is just known. That's the biggest difference. Yeah.
I could say for sure that's a fact, because a lot of hacking things I can't say on here. I hear we played against in Jersey, bro, like for real. So I know for a fact that Jersey definitely is puts emphasis on the physical part of the game. Yeah. we talked about the AAU career, talked about, and obviously there was a lot of great players you played against, and it helped you get better. Like you took that over to now. I want to take that back now over to your career in middle school, heading into high school. Because to be honest, my first impression of you watching you play when I saw you in 7th grade, and I was when I was playing in 8th grade basketball, and you were in the 7th grade team for South Orange Middle School.
Yeah.
First of all, let's talk about how loaded those South Orange Middle School teams were. From my year to your year to Michael's year, all 3 of those teams. I think you guys went undefeated a couple times. I know they went undefeated a couple times. We went undefeated a couple times, right? Loaded. South Orange Middle School basketball was loaded. But let's talk about just how that playing AAU at a young age and playing all those games and all those reps made you better, because you look like a high school hooper when you were in middle school. That's what I saw. I saw this kid could go play JV tomorrow, 7th grade. That's how I felt about you and a couple other guys. Otis, I felt that way about. Austin White. What was it that made it look so? You just made it look easy out there at a young age.
Yeah, now I just say when you play against great players growing up, you just automatically get better because what you can do and what you can't do. If you're playing soft or your dribble's not tight, against a great player, he's going to take it from you. So you're going to adjust. And I think guys who I play with, they just realize you got to play a certain way if you want to be effective. You got to, in order to be effective, you don't want to over dribble. You want to have short, crisp moves. Take your shots when you're open. So I think just learning little things like that kind of helped me develop into the player that I was able to become. And yeah, I know what you're saying. I was able to play JV my freshman year at Columbia, and I was ready for it. I was obviously a skinny dude, but mentally, I think I knew the game well enough to play at that level. And I think it's just from playing all over the country, to be honest. We played in nationals. I think 11U Nationals was in Cocoa Beach, Florida. So I was 11 years old playing in Cocoa Beach, Florida. And when you're there, you play against teams from out west, the South, so it's just playing against different players from all over. So I would say, yeah, just playing all over, you just learn the game at a different pace, and that helps, help me especially play, high school basketball. Yeah.
It's the little things. It's the little things that you just mentioned, crisp moves, good decision making, taking shots when you're open. All that stuff stood out. When I watched you play, it was just he plays like someone who's just way older than 7th grade. It was insane watching you play, watching Otis play, all these guys. And the key thing we keep going back to is game reps, getting as many reps as possible, playing as many good players as possible. And while everyone can't play AAU and play in nationals, right, at 11 years old,
yeah, exactly,
you can go to your local park and play against players I promise you are damn good, right? And you're gonna get better off of that. So that's something I wanted you to hit on too, because I think that's important. That's something important for every young hooper that listens to the show. Get reps, get as many reps as possible, because you're gonna get better, and play above your head. Play with people that are better. Play with people that play at a faster speed and force you to be better. So, man, that's definitely something too. And I know that team was talented. A bunch of guys went to a bunch of different places after going to South Orange Middle School, went to a bunch of different high schools, and wanted to have great careers afterwards, right? So you play in middle school, you dominate. How many times did y'all win the championship for that middle school team with you and Austin?
It's crazy. My memory is pretty bad. I think we won it one time, but Maplewood was that other juggernaut that we ran into, and they got us a couple of times. Maplewood, to be honest.
What happened on that team? You played a bunch of guys that went to Columbia High School afterwards.
They had Enos from the team. Austin was on that team his first year, so 6th grade they got us. But they had Austin White, Enos was my grade, and a couple other guys. Justin Osuji was on that team. Those are the main guys. But yeah, they got us a couple of times. Yeah, to be honest. So we had good records. We might have had 1 or 2 losses, but they got us in the chip, a couple of times. So
let me tell the listeners something. That those games were crazy games. People couldn't get in the gyms. Packed. It was hot. It was and to go see some 12 and 11-year-olds go play. And it was gonna be a good game. It was gonna be a competitive game, bro. Those games were movies. I'm sure you remember. You gotta remember that part. That part.
Yeah. I remember the crowd got. I remember, playing against Maplewood. One time we actually played against Maplewood at Columbia. It was a South Orange Middle School versus Maplewood Middle School game at Columbia. Because it's a rivalry game. They want a lot of people there. So and the crowd was crazy. We're 11, 12 years old, but we're still making plays in the and it's exciting basketball. So but yeah, I just remember the crowd going crazy at times. Me just loving it. and just being like, yo, like, I definitely want to hoop for, a while. Like, I love doing that. Like, I love hooping. So definitely want to try to get better. And those games helped my confidence the most. Like, I was a confident player. So that helped a lot.
For sure.
Little fast forward to high school. You score 1,000 points. A lot of people don't get that opportunity to score 1,000 points. So referencing what you said earlier, bucket that, you did that aspect. How was that to actually score 1,000 points in your high school career?
Man, it was a great feeling. So I did it at home in the state playoff game. It was the first round state playoff game at home against North Hunterdon. Like, I'll never forget it. It was a bucket. It's crazy. I remember the exact score to put us up 37-23. So it put us up by 14 in the third quarter. And, I scored that bucket. And the next play, I think they called timeout because we were on a big run. I might have capped off a big run. And so they called timeout. And then, they announced on the speaker, David Runcie has just scored his 1,000 career point. And I'm like, damn, like, I really scored 1,000. Like, I knew I did, but it just hits you like, dang, like, that's 1,000, that's 1K. And then, I'm getting hugs from my teammates. It's one of those moments that you'll never forget, because it's just like I actually did something like big, and I make that layup. And the most important thing is that we won the game. Like it was cool to score 1,000, but it was a state playoff game, and that kind of helped us build momentum, to win the game. But yeah, man, like, to score 1,000 at home in front of the fans. Like, Columbia it's a small gym, but those fans are crazy at times, especially state playoff games. Like, yeah, you guys know, like, man. So that bucket, 1,000 point, they knew it was my 1,000 point too, because they announced it, so they went crazy. But even like before that, the whole game, it was just nuts. People going crazy. So to do it at home was the biggest thing for me. Like that was, it would have been cool on the road, but at home, it's it hits different at home. So that was a cool feeling.
Yeah, that's a lot of buckets. 1,000 points. That's a lot of buckets right there.
Yeah,
some people, hey Greg,
that's
been playing since 3 that don't have 1,000 buckets yet.
No, they don't. I know some people that have played since they were 3 and have not accumulated 1,000 points in their careers. Like, it's an accomplishment to score 1,000 points at a school, bro. Like, it's crazy. And that's the thing about Dave, bro. Like, it was you go watch Dave play, he'd be calm the whole game. If you get a run, he start hitting threes, and then just be like, all right, here we go. Like, it's about to take off, and the crowd would get into it. Like, you talk about that Columbia crowd. That was real, man. Like that it was really loud in there. Like, it was wild how loud it got, and also how hot it got in there too. So you played for Columbia. What you say, bro?
Sorry. No, my bad. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's a small gym, but it gets loud in there. Like, as you guys know, it gets a little crazy, which is fun.
Yeah, bro. It's the kind of environment you kill to play in. You want to be there so bad, and in those moments of playing at home, you guys, the Columbia had a real, and probably still has a real home court advantage when they fill up that gym, or even get it to half capacity. It gets so loud in there, you just feel like the sound's bouncing off the walls. But you play there. My question for you, right? I mean, Seton Hall, right? You play against Seton Hall Prep. You guys beat Seton Hall Prep, right? Like, one of those years y'all beat Seton Hall Prep. What was that like? I think that may have been Temple's team, if I'm not mistaken. What was that like, beating them? I know that for anyone who doesn't know the context, Columbia and Seton Hall are big rival. So, or at least in Columbia's mind, they are. So, how did that game go? What did that feel like, beating them?
Man, it was good. That was the second game of my senior season. We had just beaten Newark Tech the night before, and to beat them, they were a ranked team at the time. And yeah, Temple Gibbs, was the star of that team, and they had some other good players. But it just felt good, man, like, to finally beat them, because they've been beating up on us, for years. And it's just like, gotta beat them at least once. And it was cool to do it in West Orange at the Hoop Group Tip-Off Classic. And yeah, man, it felt good, man. Like, we all, like, that was our second win of the season against a ranked team. So it felt good just to beat them, especially a rivalry game with a lot of people there. And we played well too. So it was just good to play well, see like your work come to fruition, and beat like a good team like Seton Hall Prep. And yeah, man, like, it was one of those things where, like, we finally got him. Like, we finally got him. Even though it's one time, we finally got him. So it was a good feeling to beat them. early in the season, my senior year.
He was getting buckets that game too. He's trying to be humble. He's not gonna talk about the buckets he was getting.
Bro,
He had to get over 20 in that game. He
I
had to
was
get over
trying
20.
to do my things. I think I got 20 in that game. In the fourth quarter, I turned up a little bit. It was winning time, so I had to do my thing. So.
Yeah. You gotta talk that. Yeah, you gotta talk like that. Because that game was crazy. That game was at West Orange High, right? I remember that game, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Bruh. So that's what I'm talking about. It was the whole game. Dave was calm. He was getting buckets here and there. He was really facilitating, just keeping them in the game. And then in the fourth, Dave started wilding. Dave started wild hitting threes. He's going crazy while still facilitating. Crazy part about you is you'll go on these runs, but you're not a jock. Like, it's not like other guys are involved and just watch it. You're getting guys involved too. So that was a lot of fun to watch. I remember that game vividly. That's why I wanted to ask you about that game in particular, too.
Yeah, man. Like what you're saying, like I just tried to be even killed. Like I don't want to be one of those players that made a big play and just went nuts because like there's still a lot of game left. Like if you make a big play in the first quarter, it doesn't mean as much as if you're losing. Like if you make a big play and you're still losing, like sure. I want to just stay even killed, level-headed, and in the fourth quarter especially, try to do my thing and try to put teams away if I have the chance. Obviously, there's a lot of good players out there, but if I had a chance where I could make a couple of big threes, to maybe seal a game, I was going to do it. And like, I wasn't shying away from it, like I'm going to take the shot, if I can. So, but yeah, man, that was a fun game. That was a big win for us. And it was like we finally beat them, even though it was only one time, like finally got them. So good feeling for sure.
So where did that killer instinct come from? To that fourth quarter come time, you said it's winning time. Where did that killer instinct come from to, all right, this is my time to really make an impact on the game? We see it in the league. I'm not going to say no names. Some people would benefit from having your killer instinct, but tell us where yours came from.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. But yeah, I think it's just from being competitive, and maybe it's from my dad, like just playing ball all the time and just wanting to win. Because when you want to win, like you'll do it like you'll not at all costs, but I mean you'll really like put crazy effort into it. And if the game's on the line, like you'll take your shot. Like if you lose, it's like okay, like at least I tried. It's one of those things where I want to try to win, even if even if I end up losing. Like I want to have the game on the line. I want the game on my shoulders, just because I'm competitive. It's just how it is. So it's one of those things where I think you can maybe develop it, but it's more of like a mentality thing. Like I don't want to lose, so like I'm confident in myself to make the shot, so I'm going to take the shot because I know that I can make it. That's why. It's not like, oh, like I'm scared I'm going to lose. It's like I think I can make the shot, so I'm going to take it. That's why. That was my mindset. Like, I can make a three, so why not take a three, if I'm open, no matter what. So I think it's more so confidence. That's the biggest thing.
Well, Greg, we know it's a couple of NBA players we talk on this show that have that confidence, that can't really shoot, but I'll express. You could go, Greg.
Yo, I love it, man. I love it.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there because I want to talk to you about last night's game with the Nets and the Bucks. You got a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I did, man. I got to watch it.
We'll get there because he throwing shade. One of the people he's talking about played last night, but we'll get there. Well, question I wanted to ask you, right? We've taken you to the whole spectrum. For starters, why did you transfer from Hampton to Bard? And then what was I want you to talk to our young listeners, because we have a lot of young listeners who are impressionable and think that playing D1 is an incredible accomplishment, but think that D1 is just worlds better than D3 in terms of competition. And I want you to talk about that. We talk about that all the time. So the two-part question. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, why I transferred, I wanted to find the right fit. So for me, Hampton was cool. I learned a lot there. I got to be part of a Division I program, like what you said. But I wanted to play. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to, have a good playing career. So I transferred in to answer, to talk about like the D3, D1 thing. D1, D2, D3, NAIA, there's good competition everywhere. You can't hide from competition. No matter where you go, there's going to be great competition. So I knew that, for me, I wanted to find a perfect fit. At the time, I had done 2 years in college. I wanted to play in the New York area. That was a big thing for me. I want to go to school in New York. I want to be a part of a program where I can make a big impact. I want to go to a good school. Obviously I want to be somewhere where the campus is beautiful. Those things matter to me. And Bard had a beautiful campus, good academic school. The coach believed in me. He actually saw me play in high school at the hoop group tip-off showcase classic against CNL Prep. He was one of the hoop group guys. He saw me play in high school. So he loved my game. That helped. That was a big reason I wanted to make an impact. And then, I think it's all about finding the perfect fit for you. It's all about what fits for you. And for me, Bard had everything I could possibly want. Gave me opportunity to play. It's about 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes from here, where I live, where I grew up. So my parents could see me play. That was a big thing for me. I wanted my parents to come to my home games and see me play live. So it's all about what fits you and what you're looking for. And Bard had everything I wanted. So that's, why I transferred there. And the process, was hard because I didn't know exactly too much about the school. I knew the coach a little bit, but, I visited the school beforehand. The visit went well. I did it overnight. That's one thing. I think visiting a school before you actually go, actually stepping foot on campus is big. You could look at stuff online, you could read about it, but when you actually visit the school, you get an actual feel for it. And I got a good feel for Bard. That's the reason I went there. And the competition was great. It's a great conference, and there's Division I talent in Division III. That's the thing that I don't think people realize. There's talented players there, and a bunch of guys I played against in D3 are playing overseas. So the competition is great. I knew the competition was great, and I wanted to, play against great competition, and also, go head to head with some of those guys, where I could have immediate impact at Bard. So that's why I made that choice.
Do you still follow the sport, college and NBA? What do you prefer to watch?
Man, especially during pandemic, I've been watching it all. But if I had to pick, I'd probably say NBA. I'm a big NBA fan. I love talking about the NBA, so I would say the NBA.
Okay. So,
it's funny. I never even asked you. Do you have a favorite team? We never talked about you having a favorite team. I don't know if you have a favorite team or not.
Yeah, so I follow players. I'm a big LeBron fan, and so I like the Lakers. But for me, I like these young dudes, man. I'm a big Jamal Murray fan, a big Donovan Mitchell fan. So I root for the Lakers the most, but I like the Utah Jazz and Denver Nuggets a lot too. I don't know if you know any Denver Nuggets or Utah Jazz fans, but you're looking at one basically. So it's a weird mix. But Lakers, Jazz, and Nuggets, just because I follow players, and I love Donovan Mitchell's game and Jamal Murray, so that's why I like those two teams as well.
Oh, some good players you just rattled off right there. You know what? And while we're on the NBA, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the Nets. Oh, yeah. and what they've done. I know people listen to this podcast. Probably go, yo, he only talks about the Nets. Hey, what else we gonna talk about? The Nets just got James Harden, Kyrie. They got Kyrie and they got KD. It's lit. It's lit. Nets world. So tell me what you thought about. You watched last night's game against the Bucks?
Yeah, got to watch it. Yeah.
What did you think about Giannis? I don't want to ask you a leading question. Yeah. What did you think about Giannis not guarding KD down the stretch?
No, I'm gonna ask it. I'm gonna ask it. You talked about the killer instinct. If you're in a position playing at the high school, playing at Bard, the other player's best perimeter player is getting off. He's getting buckets.
Yeah.
Are you going to go guard somebody else?
No, man. I'm trying to guard the guy that's scoring. Will I stop him? Maybe not. But am I going to try? Yeah, I'm trying. That's the point. You got to try. So I think, to answer your question, both you guys, I would have loved to see Giannis do it. I know they might say it's a long season. Maybe I don't know what their the reason is for him not guarding KD. Maybe because they're trying to preserve Giannis. I don't know. Maybe because I think that's the best matchup. Giannis against KD. Will KD score? Probably. Yeah, he'll probably still score, but it'll be harder than if Chris Middleton or whoever else is guarding him. I think you put the best on the best at the end of the game. That's just what I think. So I don't know what the reasoning was why that didn't happen, but I would have loved to see it. Yeah, I would have loved to see Giannis on KD. So.
You don't preserve a guy who's making $45 million a year. He makes the most money out of any other American athlete, period. So it's no way they can, and this is not directed at you, but there's no way they can preserve that guy. That can't be what they were doing. Well, you know what it is? He's ducking smoke. Giannis
Maybe.
ducked smoke last night. He be ducking smoke. He ducks smoke all the time. That's all he does. He's a professional smoke ducker. That's what he does for a living. That's what Giannis does.
On the regular.
For real. That's all he does, bro. He's a professional smoke ducker. That's it. That's what we about to start calling Giannis on the show. A professional smoke ducker. Yet, yo, if you think about it too, like the craziest thing to me about last night with Giannis too is like offensively he had a pretty good game. He hit some threes, hit some jump shots. Well. He was pretty aggressive all game. He was in the flow, right? But never guarded KD, and he's their defensive player of the year. He's not my defensive player of the year last year. My defensive player of the year last year was Anthony Davis. Period.
I agree with you on that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so the fact that he won it, he wins it because he plays great defense and help. But he's your longest defender. He makes the most sense to guard KD. Maybe KD doesn't get that last three off if you have him guarding KD. The last three off the bounce, the pass from Harden. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gives him the best chance to win. So yeah, man, Giannis to me, I had to take on here where I talked about how overrated he was, and it was not taken well by some people.
It was a hot take. Was it a hot take?
You know the hot take.
I love hot takes, man. I love them.
That was my first. That was probably my first hot take on here, bro. My first or second. And people did not take it well, bro. But it's fast.
I'm still getting DMs about Greg hot takes, bro.
For real?
Yo, some of our listeners be like, "Do he know basketball? Why is he talking about it? He's just a biased Nets fan." Like,
they be talking.
They be going.
They be coming left.
Bro, that's good, man. That means the podcast is taking off, man, because they really care, you know, if they're really coming or questioning, you know, what you're saying. So that's good.
No, it definitely is a good thing. It's a good thing. But I mean, if they want to come on here and tell me why I'm wrong, I mean, they can be my guest, bro. I promise you, bro. I be seeing some nut stuff online.
Hey, so before we transition to with the quickness segment, what is one piece of advice you give to a young basketball player with aspirations and goals to play college ball, play high school ball? Like, give some advice, some free game to some of these young ballers.
Yeah, so I would tell them, first thing first, you know, play your game, and don't just focus on a specific school. Don't just say like it's a D1 school or bust. I think it's whatever level you end up at, if you put in the work, whether it's, you know, consistently getting reps, you know, playing in games. Because I think it's important to playing games. I know it's tough right now because we're in a pandemic, but, you know, when things ease up, I would say, you know, try to get as much game experience as possible, whether that's AAU or your high school season. You know, just try playing games and just basically work on things too. When you're not in a game, you know, work on your handle, work on your shot. Because nowadays, if you can't shoot, you know, it's tough to play at the next level. You have to be at least an average shooter to, you know, be a good college player nowadays. It's different. So I would say constant reps, play your game. Don't be who you're not. Stick to your game, and then by you working hard and playing your game, you'll land at the right school without you even realizing it. Whether it's a high D3 school, low D2 school, whatever, D1, you'll end up where you belong if you just kind of stick with the grind and stay basically mentally strong. I think that's the biggest thing. So stick with it and don't basically rush the process. That's what I would say.
Well, there you go. That's the time of the episode. Don't rush the process. There you go.
Don't rush it.
Hey, we didn't rush you getting the title. That was the last question before we transition, and we got the title right there. Don't rush the process. I like it. I mean, that literally, that's your career right there. Not rushing the process.
Exactly.
Trusting your instincts, working hard, putting the time in, getting buckets, and doing what was best for you. So this next segment, with the quickness segment, this is where some of our guests end up being hot takes and get themselves viral and people commenting like, yo, who is this guest? So this is the segment. Answer however you choose.
All right, let's do it.
Start off with something simple. What's your go-to meal?
My go-to meal, man, I would say steak and rice. Steak and rice. That's a great combo, man. Steak and rice.
What type of rice?
Basic white rice. Basic white rice. That's my go-to meal, man.
Steak sauce?
Definitely A1, 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 man. Definitely.
All right. Hey, Greg, you already know the vibes. You know what's next.
Oh yeah. All right. Yo,
You know what's next.
Yo, Dave, have you had the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich?
Craziest thing, bro. I had one for the for the first time a couple months ago, so I had it late. Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool.
It was late though.
You scared me for a second. Have you had the Popeyes chicken sandwich?
Yes, I have.
All right. So this has been a hotly debated topic on the podcast. I've been asking every single guest that comes on which one they think is better between the two. I know I have my opinion. It's well documented which one I think is better, but I don't want to sway you if you don't know. So which one do you think is better?
Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A.
Hey,
Chick-fil-A, baby.
I think you're the first person to come on here and tell me that Chick-fil-A is better. You're the first person, bro.
He's the first guest.
A lot of people like the Popeyes, right?
Yes, bro. Why do you like the Chick-fil-A one better?
But for me, I don't know. For me, it just hits different. Like I can't really explain it. It's just, I don't know, man. That taste for me is just different. And it just, it just hits me well. I mean, it just hits different compared to Popeyes for me. They're both great. I mean, but if you tell me to pick one, I'm going Chick-fil-A, man.
Yo, Chick-fil-A, that Chick-fil-A sauce, that's the sauce from a Good Burger or something like that. Chick-fil-A sauce is elite.
Chick-fil-A sauce is legalized crack. I got mad Chick-fil-A sauce downstairs in my kitchen, bro. I be hoarding them. I be collecting them because
I love it. I love it. They not stingy like fast food establishments. We're not gonna say which ones because if y'all want to sponsor the show, we'll gladly take your sponsorship. But Chick-fil-A will give you 12 sauces and be like, my pleasure.
Exactly. I love that. That's great service. No, it adds to it. So much respect to Chick-fil-A, man. Great chicken sandwich.
Word. Favorite basketball player right now?
LeBron James.
LeBron. Okay. From Jersey legend. We mentioned Columbia. We mentioned all the players you played. Give me your top 5 players from Jersey.
Of all time?
All time. You could go back to Tim Thomas. You could say right now.
Yeah. All right. Kyrie Irving for sure. Easy. I'm going to put Tim Thomas in there. So Kyrie Irving, Tim Thomas. I'm going to give Kyle Anderson. I like Kyle Anderson. He's still in the league, putting up buckets in Memphis. Carl Towns. That's one. And then shout out J.R. Smith. Got to give J.R. Smith his respect. That's a 2-time NBA champion. He's been in the league for a while. He just won his second ring with the Lakers in the bubble. So I would say he's in his prime too. And his prime when he was with Denver, he was different. So I think he's definitely needs his respect. So I would say those 5.
Crazy.
Yeah, JR, even when he got to New York, still was in his bag. He, off court stuff, I guess, was the issue. But I think now he still could get off. It's just getting in that right situation. Yeah. And with everything going on, I don't think it'll probably be like around the All-Star time where you see some people getting signed and whatnot. So we mentioned already, we know Harden was traded. Yeah. Kyrie's coming back. Do you have Brooklyn winning the East?
I have Brooklyn winning the championship this year. The whole thing. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think they're winning the chip. They're definitely winning the East. They're winning the chip. That's my opinion. Yes, they're winning the East.
Yo, he's a Bron guy too, by the way.
I know, but But bro, they have 3 walking buckets. I don't know how you could beat that. I mean, obviously chemistry is a big thing, but I just think the chemistry by June or whenever by the playoffs, by April, I think they'll be good. So I think Brooklyn wins the chip. Definitely wins the East. I think they beat the Lakers in 6 in the finals. That's my prediction. That's my hot take. Yeah, that's my hot take.
Yo, so for all the listeners out here, for all the listeners who think that I'm a biased Nets fan and everything like that, whatever, right? I have been telling everybody who will listen that I think the Lakers are going to win the championship this year in about 6 or 7 games. I think next year the Nets are going to win it all. Depending on how this season goes, that opinion can change because, it really is scary with just KD and Harden, bro. Like, it's really crazy how good they are. But if you can add Kyrie into this thing, and Kyrie, it fits. Like, it makes sense. Like, Kyrie's good off ball, good with the ball, and is all enjoy playing together. Yo, watch out. Like,
I'm not betting against Bron. I still got Lakers in 6. I'm not. It's hard for me to bet against
anyone who's not betting against Bron. I get that too. That's fair. That's fair.
And plus, man, he's playing great. He just won his 4th ring in the bubble, and he's playing great this year. And the Lakers look good again this year. So if they won the chip, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just, feeling I'm on that Brooklyn Nets wave, that adrenaline of made a big trade. They just got like one of the best scorers ever. But if they lost to the Lakers in 7 or 6 or 5 or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised. If the Lakers end up beating them. But I think it's gonna be those two in the chip, Lakers and Nets.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna say Brooklyn will win it. They didn't even have Kyrie last night, and Milwaukee barely lost that game. You add Kyrie to the mix. That's a long series. That's a lot of a headache. That's a super headache for them, Like, as you said, it's too many buckets on one team. And then when you have a situation where Joe Harris gets 20, DeAndre Jordan gets 12. If you got the role players, and I'm sure they're going to be very much a part of the buyout market. They're getting another couple of pieces, I think. See it, it's going to be that same type of that feel when LeBron went to Miami. Everybody wanted to go. I'll play for $2.
Facts. Bro, I think the biggest thing is just defense, because they've been scoring at will. They just have to be able to defend. If they can defend Milwaukee or defend the Lakers or at least contain them, I think they could win. But because Milwaukee still scored 123 points. Milwaukee was still getting buckets. But if the Nets could just hold teams to like low 100s, they could, in the playoffs where the game's a little slower, they'll be all right. But offensively, they should be good. It's just defensively, that's where the Lakers could probably knock them out if that happens, or even Milwaukee. So
Lakers defense is they're all-time defensive, just great unit. They're just all-time great defensively. They do a great job on defense. They talk. So that's where I give the Lakers an edge. It's right there. But there's not an answer for KD. It's hard to answer to the bell with KD. Brown will have to play at the highest level he's played in the last 3 or 4 years. And that's not asking too much out of him. I'm not betting against Brown. I think the Lakers win it this year in 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. But next year, bro, I think the Nets are going to win a championship. I think Nets are winning one championship over the next 2-3 years, at least.
Yeah, the thing that you mentioned Milwaukee. Before I go to the next question, they really don't even got to stop Milwaukee, in my opinion. You know why? Because if it's a close game, which more than likely it's going to be a close game, there won't be a blowout in that series at all.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee ain't got no closer.
That is true.
So if I'm putting my money on, we need a closer to get buckets. We got 3 of them.
Exactly.
Chris Middleton, he's good, but
he's not the same level as Kyrie or any of those dudes.
A closer?
Yeah.
You're trying to turn him into a closer. He's not a closer. He has to be that way because your leader, your captain, my captain, sir captain, games. He's shooting. We going on the show. I want to know, is his free throw percentage going to be higher than Bucks winning percentage?
For real?
Yeah. That's facts, man.
He can't knock down a free throw.
And there was I think that one game recently he was like 1 for 10. I don't know what game that was. He was struggling.
Yes.
I think they played Dallas that night.
Yeah, I think that might have been Dallas.
Oh, how's Shaq shooting better free throw percentage?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, he's overrated.
Definitely playoff time. That's a problem, man. You can't be doing that.
Huge problem when we need the ball to be in your hands. You're 6'10", 6'11". Nobody could guard you in the paint. We could get you the ball in the paint, but if you get fouled,
it's a little bit of a problem at that point. So
you playing against Brooklyn, they knocking down threes, and you getting 1 out of 2 on free throws.
I think there'd be a couple lost in that series, to be honest. I think there would be.
You
paying attention at all to college ball right now?
A little bit. I just know the big storylines. Kentucky's been struggling. Just kind of like it's been a weird year. But yeah, I've been watching a little bit. So yeah.
Jalen Suggs or Cade Cunningham?
Ooh, man. That's a good question. I might have to go Cade. I haven't seen them enough, but like, I don't know. I just like his game. I mean, I have to do more research, to fully answer that question. But I'm saying Cade from what I've seen. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think anybody's going to like.
Cade's the right choice.
It's a win-win type of situation. It's not like we said Cade Cunningham and Antonio Burnett. Like that's
Man, I've seen you get buckets though, man. You're selling yourself short.
You think, yeah?
I get buckets, but I'm here with you right now. So he's somewhere about to get millions. I'm trying to get different way. So all right, we got like 3 or 4 before we get you out of here. Star bench cut, top players under 25. All right. So I'm gonna give you a star bench cut for players under 25. Okay. You mentioned Jamal Murray, so Jamal Murray.
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker.
Ooh, that's
really
a tough one.
Yeah.
I might have to go. This is going to be maybe a hot take. Start Donovan Mitchell, bench Jamal Murray, cut Devin Booker. Devin Booker might be out of it, even though he's crazy talented. But I've seen Jamal Murray go crazy in the playoffs. I've seen Donovan Mitchell go crazy in the playoffs. That's one thing, D-Book hasn't done yet. It's not his fault, but as of now, I'm going start Donovan Mitchell, bench Jamal Murray, cut Devin Booker. So
I don't know if it's a hot take, but we're going to definitely get some people with some opinions on this one.
Yeah, for sure. You can't argue with the logic.
Yeah, you can't argue with it. You ain't seen it in the playoff times yet.
Mm-hmm.
Another one with the young players. Mm-hmm. We're going to do Trae Young, Ja Morant, Jason Tatum.
Starting Jason Tatum, I am benching Ja Morant, and I'm cutting Trae Young. Yeah, cutting Trae Young.
I would have said the exact same thing.
Yeah, cutting Trae Young, man. They're all buckets, but yeah, Trae Young has to go in that scenario.
I was telling somebody the other day, I think Ja Morant's better than Trae Young. And they thought that was crazy. I think Ja Morant's better than him, objectively, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Trae Young's a bucket.
He is a bucket.
He's a bucket.
He's a super defensive liability.
He only passes when there's a clear assist, which I don't like. I think he only passes to get the assist, and he may shoot a little bit too much, to be quite honest. Not on his game. Just observations from Greg. That's it.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do bucket getters, right? Star bench cut.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan.
Ooh, that's a great
one.
Strictly buckets. That might be the toughest one of the day. All right. Because I don't know if I can cut MJ. That'd be kind of crazy. All right, so I'm gonna go. I'm start MJ. Start MJ. I'm benching KD. And I'm cutting Kobe. Yeah, that sounds crazy, but I'm cutting Kobe. You know how crazy that sounds, though, bro. Like,
wow, bro. I would have said KD. Bro, I would have said KD, Jordan, and Kobe. That's what I would have said. That would have been my three.
You would have cut Kobe too.
I would have KD, Kobe, and Jordan could go chill in Charlotte.
Bro, that's crazy. Those are three.
KD's the greatest scorer of all time.
Hands down.
Yeah, I don't even think it's that close.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest.
Next set, star bench cut, scorers, Melo, Paul Pierce, AI.
Ooh, that's a great one too. AI, I'm starting AI. I'm benching Melo, and Paul Pierce is getting cut. Yeah, Paul Pierce is getting cut on that one. Loves his game, but Melo and AI are just different breeds. So.
Yo, I'm just laughing at how mad Paul Pierce would be if he heard this, bro.
Hey, no, we got tag. You know we got tag. We got
Paul
tag.
Pierce, the same dude that told us that he better than Dwayne Wade.
Nah, bro. Nah. He's just chatting on that one, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he really believed that. Yo, no disrespect, Paul Pierce. You're gonna come on the show, bro. You can come tell me why you better than Dwayne Wade. All due respect.
Yeah, and Paul Pierce, you're a bucket getter. So I mean, explain your case. You know, it's respectable. I mean, just explain it.
Maybe it's because he played for Boston that I can't see it. I don't know. I'm allergic to things Boston.
I think he retired, and CBD and everything like that might factor into it. You don't have to worry about those testing anymore.
Do you remember the game that they were supposed to do the ceremony for him? They did it. They did the retirement ceremony for him. They did a tribute video and everything like that. And he had told the Celtics not to do because they weren't doing for Isaiah Thomas that same night.
Oh,
the Cavs, and he told them not to do it. He made a big fuss about it. Then the Cavs came in and beat them by like 50. You remember that night? You ever see Paul Pierce's face in the crowd? That's the way I remember Paul Pierce. That's the way I'm always gonna remember him, with that look on his face for the rest of my life.
Yo, before we get to the last question, best thing in the world ever when you talk about Paul Pierce, that last year in the league when Draymond was like, yo, you a cheerleader, you just mad they don't show you the same love that they showed Kobe. Him, that face is what I remember with Paul. That face, that was priceless.
Bro, Tonio, bro. I remember that forever, bro. I remember seeing the clip, and I think Draymond was he was in the game, right? And Paul Pierce was on the bench. Yeah. Yeah. That was a classic, bro. That was a classic.
They don't love you like they love Kobe.
It's a fact, though.
He was like, who do you think you was? You think he was Kobe?
It's so sad because it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, that's fact.
So true.
Oh man, he didn't get no farewell tour. Like
there was no farewell tour.
Hey Greg, we might as well just forget it. We ain't getting Paul Pierce on here.
You might have to edit out that part or something, man.
He's not gonna edit it out, bro. That's gold. Hey, I hope we have some Paul Pierce fans, bro. I hope we have some Paul Pierce, some Boston Celtics fans that listen to the podcast, because I would love to hear, their takes on Paul Pierce. I don't even think Celtics fans think he's that great. I don't think they know they love him. They think he's great. I don't think they think that he belongs in the category with Dwayne Wade.
Yeah,
I hope not.
No chance.
Please.
He's definitely top 50 all time. I put him. He's top 50 all time.
What's D Wade all time? Top 25.
Yeah, we got to split it in half.
Yeah.
D Wade cleared him.
Yeah.
Easy. And shout out to D Wade. If you want to come on the show, I see you enjoying your life with Gabby. If both on the show, come on the show. You're retired. You're loving life. We got time too, so come on and hop on the bench mob. Before we get you out, Dave, last question. 5 people, dead or alive, that you would have a meal with, that you're going to have come eat steak and rice with you.
Whew, steak and rice with David Runcie. All right. I definitely, Kobe, RIP to Kobe. I want, that's a good one. Kobe. Kevin Hart, funny dude. Got to add some comedy to the table. So Kevin Hart, Kobe, Beyonce, Queen B. I want her in on that too. So those 3. Who else? That's a great question. Man.
Well, Kobe might not come. You just cut him, so.
Man, he knows those are 2 amazing scores. So he'll have to forgive me on that one. So the last two I want at the table with me. I think I want Kyrie Irving. I know he's a dude that takes a lot of heat, but I think he's like misunderstood. I think he's a good dude, does a lot for the community. I definitely would want him to be at that table. And then the last person, that's a tough one. Dead or alive. I think, obviously it'd be you guys, but we're talking, if I could take, both you guys, that'd be great vibes. But, talking about other people, I would definitely, my last person would probably be, that's a good one. Jordan. I think I would take Jordan, just pick his brain about life. I know he's an amazing basketball player, but just in general, just, talk to him and just, get to see what, it's like being Air Jordan, the 101, just seeing what that's like. So those 5 definitely want to chop it up, eat some steak and rice, good eats, good people.
Yo,
So
that sounds like a show right there. Steak and rice with David Runcie. That really sounds like
Facts.
throw that bad boy in the grill, man. Just let it cook, let it rock, and then get the A1 sauce too. Got special sauce. So.
facts. But thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to hop on with the Bench Mob. Definitely, y'all check us out. This will be out on all streaming platforms. It'll be on YouTube. We thank y'all for all the support, continue voting on the polls. All of that is much needed. But again, thank you for taking time out to hop on, chat with the Bench Mob. Y'all know the vibes. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.